Good morning, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First up, granddaughter found guilty of negligent homicide in Exeter woman's death. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Kristen Carosa.
Four-year-old Maritel Santil of Exeter has been found guilty of negligent homicide following the death of her grandmother, Nancy Parker.
That's a Class B felony, carries a maximum sentence of 3.5 to 7 years at the New Hampshire State Prison.
Maritel was also found guilty for failure to report elder abuse,
which is a Class A misdemeanor, carries a maximum penalty of 12 months at the House of Corrections.
However, she was found not guilty of criminal neglect of an elder adult. Santil's grandmother, Nancy Parker, died days after she was found on the floor of her home while lying in her own urine and feces in February of 2016. Physicians diagnosed her with necrotizing fasciitis. Santil and her mother were living with Parker during this time. The defense and Santil herself argued in court that Parker did not want help and refused to get off the floor.
I think it's obvious that the jury worked very hard. I haven't had a jury out this long in a long time, and we appreciate all the work that they did. We're obviously disappointed. We need to process this and then get through sentencing, and then we'll look at the issues for appeal.
Santil will be sentenced in January. The trial for Parker's daughter will begin in January as well. Live in the studio, Kristen Carosa, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that report in that video. Stock market's crazy Monday could be a warning. Traders are watching Tuesday's opening action after the S&P 500 rallied hard, reversed gains, and ended Monday lower, a sign of a potential trouble. Manafort worked with Russians' internal connected individuals, special prosecutors alleged. Let's take a look at this report from ABC News and the video.
My medicine kept wearing off.
Hey, Chad!
I missed you.
I was in the tree watching you, then I fell. I'm not eating pizza from the trash.
Then I discovered Mucinex. Huge difference. One pill lasts 12 hours, and I'm good.
Oh, here, kitty kitty. Ah! Not a cat. Not a cat.
Why take 4-hour medicine? Just one Mucinex lasts 12 hours. Start the relief. Ditch the misery. Let's end this.
That 12-count indictment against Manafort and advisor Rick Gates makes no mention of collusion with Russia, but it could potentially be used as leverage in the special counsel's investigation. Our senior justice correspondent Pierre Thomas has more from Washington. And Pierre, Manafort and Gates are now out of custody but under house arrest and could face, we're talking serious jail time if convicted.
Robin, good morning. That's right. They're under house arrest and if convicted could face up to 20 years in prison. And you're right, that sweeping 12-count indictment makes no allegations about collusion with the Russians. But what the special counsel does do is argue that Manafort engaged in a massive money laundering campaign to hide income made from doing business with Ukrainian officials who had alleged ties to Russia. The FBI says Manafort laundered $18 million to finance a, quote, lavish lifestyle, including spending $6.4 million on 3 homes in New York and Virginia and over $1 million on clothes. His attorney denies any wrongdoing, basically calling Mueller's case a sham. But make no mistake, former prosecutors tell us one of Mueller's goals is to see if Manafort or Gates will cooperate, Robin.
Well, with all that we've seen so far with the indictments and the plea agreement, it's clear that a very broad net has been cast by Mueller.
That's right. It can include any member of the campaign with any connections to the Russians. Michael Flynn, for example, remains under intense investigation. Bottom line, Robin, in this case, when the FBI comes knocking, you better be telling the truth because they probably know a lot more than they think you know.
That's true. All right, Pierre, thanks.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Tuesday, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. Goodbye, everyone.